But we could do an Umbra run next, so I can go into a little bit more detail while I do the run. Why don't we do that? So Umbra, random, Covenant 25, let's go. And for what I didn't say before, but I definitely want to mention, I am really happy that my content helped you get better at the game. I'm very glad that turned out to be the case. With Embocage, these artifacts are pretty strong, and I think Traitor's Quill is a lot stronger than refracting lenses. Well, refracting lenses early means we could heal up our pyre passively, so that's worth something. Ice Tornado, Packed Morsels, and Embocage. We do have a lot of consume cards here. Once again, Seraph the Diligent. No, I just think this one is a lot better. The Traitor's Quill is generally quite a bit better against the End boss. So I think we do already have 2 pack morsels, so that's benefit for Glutton. But I think I do want to do an Architect run, and I do think we are quite well set for an Architect as well. Now the good thing about the Architect is that it's a backline unit, and it's actually the only backline unit that's actually usable in the entirety of Umbra. That actually is a backline DPS unit. There are backline support units in the Morsel Maker and Morsel Masters, but Penumbra is an actual backline DPS unit, and that's very valuable in Umbra. Let's set up at the top floor. Do I have any? Yeah, I do have the Ice Tornadoes. Maybe I do want the Rubble Morsel over the Magma Morsel right now. Which is a bit unusual, but... yeah, and we did draw into Ice Tornado, and I am happy playing it here. Our Penumbra does have lifesteal right now, so... do we have another Train Steward in the deck? We do, so we don't need to play it yet. We can just get these... somehow I thought we would survive, I don't know why. Okay. Again, trial taken, no damage taken, always a nice thing. We don't need that much morsel generation right now, but I do want a bunch. The only runs you've won with Umbra were without using morsels at all. Morsels have so many weaknesses and they can only buff a frontline unit, so for me it's hard to get enough damage on my units or to make them survive in the frontline. Yeah, I agree, damage can be quite tough to get as Umbra. they will need time to grow, so that's definitely a problem. I think Architect Penumbra is nice to provide damage, because he can be a backline in Umbra, unlike almost any other Umbra unit. Yeah, morsels are very slow for scaling, that's absolutely true. But you will need them for a variety of reasons in Umbra, so I think I like Grovel the most here. Helical Crystallis could help with killing frontliners. We do already have 2 Ice Tornadoes, so it's definitely not that. Let's go for Helical. And Crucible Collector can be our frontline in front of Penumbra. That can work out quite well. Let's do that. To be honest, Kicker, I don't really like the units that make morsels. I much rather prefer spells. I sometimes take a morsel maker or morsel master, but I almost never try to rely on them. We need the upgrades for the Shadow Siege. Is Shadow? Yeah, let's take a Shadow Siege. We do have the Ember Cache, so eventually we should be able to get some use out of it. Do I want to put in that much? I mean, we don't want multi-strike on Crucible Collector, so might as well put it on Shadow Siege. Yeah, I don't think it's a very strong card, but in general, because it's so hard to make it work, especially because it is a priority draw, and if you draw it in your opening hand, you usually don't have the energy to make it work. So there are a bunch of real problems associated with Shadow Siege, but I am willing to give it a try. It's definitely a fun unit. I would love to play Ice Tornado here, but I would hate to delay the Crucible Collector. I don't think we can delay the Crucible Collector. I think we literally lose if we do that. We do not really need damage that urgently on the Crucible Collector. The lifesteal would have been nice, but we will get enough lifesteal on him by the time the boss shows up. Damage shield is almost useless because we do have lifesteal, and if we have damage shield there's nothing to lifesteal. We did take a little bit of damage, but all in all, that was pretty okay. Perils of Production. We need it if we want to play Shadow Siege at all. Urgent Spines isn't bad. We have a bunch of high damage spells. Okay. Might help to deal with some stragglers. Or maybe even the boss. Not really interested in another Umbra unit, and we don't have that much gold right now, but on the other hand we don't really have anything great to dupe. Probably could dupe an Ember Cache. Sure. It makes our Shadow Siege a bit more reliable. A rare draft pick. Hellhound, Awoken, Melting Remnant. What do I want in this deck? What am I missing in this deck right now? I am missing a great way of dealing with backline units. I guess Awoken is the way to go. Quick is not very good for us. Rail Spike is obviously pretty good. Let's go for Rail Spike. I will not duplicate my Shadow Siege. Nuh-uh. Let's dupe the Rail Spike and build a deck around Awoken Rail Spike. We do have a lot of energy generation already in the deck, so... We need setup time, so we will definitely set up on the top floor. Once again, we drew that Shadow Siege in our opening hand, where we literally have no way of playing it. Should have played Rail Spike first, to be honest. But I wanted to make sure I do have at least one lifesteal on this guy. We need the damage on these guys. This is pretty nice. We don't need damage shield on our collector. Should have made that morsel first, to be honest. Oh. Oh, this morsel didn't get eaten because our frontliner died. I missed that. That was pretty bad. We might be okay though. We should be okay. Whoops, I had another amber. I don't really value consume removal a lot when playing with Space Prism. Most of the time I just want to play it once and that's enough for me. Okay, that's a pretty good draw. Nothing to generate morsels with though. Still nothing. It's a bit infuriating. Well, at least that's a bunch of damage on Daedalus. But we only have 3 lifesteal, but it's enough, so... There's that. Yeah, in a Stygian build, Space Prism is great, I agree. But still, I usually don't want consume removal on it anyway. Kindle would be another way to fuel our Rail Spikes or our Shadow Siege. And the other two are kinda bad, so let's take Kindle. I almost never take Kindle, but I think it's the right call here. If I want a second Shadow Siege, it would be duping the first one. Because that already has multi-strike. I think we are all in on the Shadow Siege now, so let's just make it as consistent as possible. Cost reduce the Crucible extension. Yeah, that's a better way of going about the same thing. After all, both of them are gonna be 1 cost. And the Crucible extension is cheaper to cost reduce and more reliable to cost reduce than removing Consume from the Space Prism. Yeah, the card is rarer, that's true. Relics could help with playing Shadow Siege more reliably. I don't really want a Stygian unit. Upgrades? Sure, we do have... Yeah, let's go to the left. Card removals are also nice. Eternal Stone. Nothing we want Endless on. Let's just reroll. Okay. And the Crucible Collector just needs a bunch of stats. Train Stewards versus Frozen Lances. I think it's the Frozen Lances. We draw into them over and over again. They are definitely an issue. Let's hope I draw into not Shadow Siege first for once. The 15 armor is actually a bit of an issue with this backline unit, especially these Absolvers. The bottom floor is size reduced though, so we can't put Shadow Siege there, nor can we put the... Well, we could put Penumbra and Crucible Collector there. But is that good? Is it good is the question. It allows us to kill off this Clip Defender right away. 75 damage. And we have better access to the Absolver. Okay, let's do it. I have to play Penumbra first though. Otherwise we will be... We will have a little bit of a problem. Shadow Siege can go on the second floor if we are able to play it next turn, which is possible. Not that likely, but it's possible. Yes, here we go. Should probably have played that on the bottom floor. I forgot about the Traitor's Quill. I think this combat is won now. The only thing we need to watch out for is... actually nothing. We don't have anything we need to watch out for. We have just won. Just like this, we won the fight. I don't regret putting this Kindle in our deck. I would love to play the Awoken's Railspike here. Yeah, so let's just play it. Okay. Hitting a Helical Crystallis, that's very nice. We can even Urchin Spines first, so we can kill both of the front lines here. Means less Scorchers to deal with, which is always a good thing in my book. Yeah, I mean, Endless doesn't have many uses in this game. You can put it on a tank, that's sometimes viable. But most of the time you only want it on Tombs or Imps or something like that. Quick, my favorite synergy with Quick is Sweep. Quick Sweep is very nice. There are a few other units that benefit from Quick. Something like Paraffin Enforcer that triggers an effect when it strikes that benefits other units. And it can sometimes help with Slays. Let's take another Ember Cache. After all, it's quite a bunch of damage with the Traitor's Quill as well. No. We don't need the defense, we don't want Glacial Seal. Let's go for the relics and removals. Quite spicy. Friendly unit enter with lifesteal or apply spell weakness 2 to any enemy units that reach the top. Starting with lifesteal helps our Crucible Collector a bit, but it's not necessary. Spell weakness, we do have a bunch of decent damage spells, so that can definitely be useful. Let's take the Totem Fragment. I think it's more powerful overall. Mind checks. I can get behind mind checks. So now on the middle floor, if we play Crucible Collector and Umbra, we do have space for 5 morsels, or we could even put the Shadow Siege there if we wanted to. One multi-strike on Shadow Siege, he doesn't need it. Let's start getting rid of some train swords now. Actually, now with the mind checks, we have space to place 1 or 2 more train stewards a bit easier, so. This guy is very scary. But this guy is very scary because our Crucible Collector can't lifesteal on him as long as he has stealth, so might be a bit of an issue. We definitely need to get the Shadow Siege out here. Oh! Speaking of getting Shadow Siege out here. Hi Shadow Siege. Do we want him on this floor? To be honest? Yes! Yes, we do want him on this floor. I think that's a pretty good floor. Let's go. I do want the Shadow Siege to stay healthy and, if possible, damage shielded. I was about to ask how does this guy get a Harvest trigger, but it's the Clip Shaman healing him. So as long as our Shadow Siege is over 7 times 13, over 91 health by the time the boss comes around, we should win this fight. Well, actually over 104 health. So the only thing I really care about in this fight is keeping my Shadow Siege healthy. That's pretty much the only thing that matters to me. He doesn't need to full heal after stealth, because he one-shots the boss anyways. But we will find the time to heal him up to full. Eventually. Let's just make our deck 0 cost, why won't we? Yeah, sure, that's good. Damage shield morsel. I mean, this morsel is also quite useful. And if we can make a somewhat decent bottom floor, we might even slow down the stealth a little bit. Get rid of some of it beforehand. For that reason I'm gonna sacrifice this Crucible Collector. Just to get rid of the stealth. Not that we really need it, but... Not each... Yeah, that's true. If we make a floor with just mortals, then each mortal is gonna be a turn of stealth gone. Other things you look at when you do the first decisions after the first ring fight. How do you decide if you want spell upgrades or a unit with a possible unit upgrades? Okay, this is not that easy to figure out. Most of the time I'm looking at what do I have, what can my clans provide. Regret not taking all the Shadow Sieges? Ha, you wish. I will just dupe the one I have. And then I have 3 Shadow Sieges with a multi-strike too. So, mostly it's experience, but you can also look a little bit at your deck, see what you are lacking. Do you have ways to deal with front lines? Do you have ways to deal with back lines? Do you have ways to deal with bosses? And do you have ways to keep your units around? And initially on top of it you might ask the questions, can I deal with spike trials? Can I deal with spell shield trials? Things like that. And then you try to answer these questions the things you are not yet prepared to deal with. You try to find cards as early as possible that deal with those problems in some way, and once you have a way to address at least one way to address these problems, you try to be better at addressing them. So for example, first, if I have no way of dealing with backliners at all, I would look at something like a Glimmer or a Vent or maybe even a Hornbreak and pick that, so I do have a way to deal with backlines. But maybe later I might pick up a unit with Quick and Sweep or something that deals with, or maybe Spike, something that is even better at dealing with backlines, because a single Vent or a single Glimmer or maybe a single Hornbreak even is not gonna be good enough in the long run. So these are things I'm looking at. And for example, if I have a Vent and that's my way of dealing with backlines, then I am more likely to go to a Merchant of Magic to get spell damage for the Vent and get holdover for the Vent. So I will have a consistent way of dealing with backlines after that. Is Gemtrove something we want? Yeah, I think so. None of these though. Basically, most of my gameplay in this game comes down to threat analysis. Can I deal with whatever the enemies throw at me? And now we are guaranteed 2 Shadow Sieges on turn 1. Should have gone here first. Maybe I could have found an upgrade for my Shadow Siege here. Spells gain an extra upgrade slot. We have no spell upgrades yet. I will still take it. Just because we might make something fun with it. Thank you, Night Breeze. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you like my commentating style. Honestly, if Fel ever comes to the middle floor, she will be almost dead already. Umbra is now... What am I even doing in this... what am I even doing on this train? I guess we can just have Penumbra on the bottom floor, making sure not as many units go up to the second floor, so we can have more fun with Fel. Very often I will take an early bad option, but it depends on my clan and champions. If I don't find a good unit in my first unit banner. Very often there are not 3 bad options. If I happen to skip all 3, I'm probably playing Umbra and see Crucible Collector, Crucible Warden and Morsel Maker. Because any other unit is good and I will take. Morsel Master I will probably take, it depends a bit. Crucible Warden and Crucible Collector I only take if I'm playing Architect. For the other clans I will almost always find a unit I wanna take. I would probably take an early Wickless Tycoon, Paraffin Thug, Wickless Baron. Most of these units are pretty good early on. Same for Stygian. Stygian has almost no bad units. Sometimes the silo fights can be pretty bad for you, or the Titan Sentry. Early on, Awoken is a bit more difficult. If I am going with the Spike Sentient, I will definitely skip the sweep units, and but I might pick up a Hollow then. Hollow I will probably pick if I have the Rejuvenate Sentient, and I would almost always pick an Animus if these were offered to me. I would probably skip Wilting Sapwood, so it could be very likely that I would skip there. And I would probably skip Consumer and Crowns and Demon Fiend most of the time, but I will pick probably Branded Warrior also. So yeah, sometimes I skip all, but more often than not I will pick a not quite as amazing unit. I will pick a not quite as amazing unit over no unit at all early on. This is already quite a bunch of damage on Fel. I just hope she goes back to the middle floor again. Yeah, you can take a unit that you will cut later, but on Higher Covenant that's not something you will do happily, because you have so many things you want to cut usually. If I have a very good basic card like a Drag or something, then I might be more willing to cut units later that I picked up early. How much damage can I do to Fel here? Turns out quite a bit. Yeah, I don't want any more mortals because I can't place them down. And Fel comes to the middle floor to die. Yeah, having a single unit in your deck is already a huge upside. Because you get it guaranteed in your opening hand. So you are much better set up that way. Ancient Synergy is actually quite appealing here. Because we do have these Ember Caches adding extra spells to our deck. And we do have quite a number of spells. Can't draw now. To be honest, most of the time I would rather have Shadow Siege in the second hand, just because it's very hard to play it in the first hand unless you have Firebox. And oftentimes you need some kind of energy generation, maybe the morsel. And your first hand... Okay. We do have a lot of 3-cost cards. Not like we really need that with our Ember generation. Do we want Hellspanners? What would be fun here? I think a Forgotten Name would be fun here. I mean, I don't even need to take what's good anymore, I can just take what's fun at this point. Because we are basically... This run is basically unlosable. Yeah, I skip a lot on the later banners. I almost always take a unit on the first banner. Not literally always, but more often than not I will take a unit on the first banner. But I will very often skip banners later. Oh, that's a bit disappointing. Both dead weights. Okay. Lifesteal at night. Ah, this deck is hilarious. Hellspanner is usually nuts, yeah. Why am I even playing any cards? I should probably just end my turn over and over again until I've won. I mean, there's nothing that can stop us at this point. Let's get another Shadow Siege, why not? And then we remove the final Train Steward, so we get it guaranteed. We might as well remove a Shade Splitter. Floor Manipulation, yeah, we didn't get it though. So, yeah, let's take a first Hell Pact. I mean, we totally need a first Hell Pact, right? We don't even have any units to upgrade, so... Yeah, I could probably win the Seraph battle without casting any cards. But I wanna try hard the Seraph and see how much score I can get. To be honest, I don't think anything I do even matters very much here. It's mostly just about, does the Seraph go to the top floor? Yes. To the middle floor? Yes, you win the game. No, you win the game on a later turn. We actually only draw 7 cards with it, so no need to empty our hand. I mean, let's do this again. Maybe I want to use Ice Tornado for that instead. This is 10 energy right now. Yeah, let's throw another Rail Spike. I don't think I ever had a deck as broken as this one. Missed 30 damage to Seraph. I dealt the 30 damage on the bottom line. I probably wasn't necessary because I do want this bottom line gone because of this Purifier. I don't like this Purifier. No more room for morsels. Okay. We stop now. We played almost our entire deck on the first turn, or maybe we even played our entire deck on the first turn. What to do with all this energy? The funny thing is, this deck is broken even if we didn't have a bunch of Shadow Sieges. The things we can do with this deck these are absolutely insane. Okay, I think that was one of the most ridiculous runs I ever had in this game, and probably the most normal Covenant 25, the most powerful normal Covenant 25 run I ever had. I guess this run isn't really representative of how to play Umbra. So we kinda missed the point in that regard. But it was a lot of fun. I definitely enjoyed that.